standard day at the office at Portman Road here in 3-2. We're getting plenty of these scorelines, aren't we?
Yeah, let's get it right. It shouldn't have been 3-2. So there's bits of frustration in there about that, but there's of course lots of good things about the game and the way we played and the way we overcame adversity and played some really good football and could have had any number of goals really.
Is that the frustration, having kind of solved the puzzle, come from behind, put yourselves in front? That game should have been well out of sight towards the latter stages. Yeah,
it should have been out of sight, and I didn't like how we played the last 15 minutes against the 10 men. I didn't like our concentration levels. I didn't like our humility to realise that the other team still. Jamal Lowe's a very good player. We still have to be concentrated. We dropped the concentration levels, and that's a frustration in the dressing room at the moment, and that's a good thing, because it's not just a frustration in the staff room, it's a frustration in the dressing room that we didn't maintain our standards for the last 15 minutes of that game.
I guess you've said before, it's nice when you can learn your lessons and still take the 3 points from it.
Definitely, no doubt about it, and that's been the case in lots of games this year. Sometimes something goes against you, like on Tuesday night we didn't quite do something right on a set piece and you get punished, and other days it doesn't, but you still got to try and learn the lesson. So yeah, there's a lesson in there, but look, of course, on the other hand, massive credit to the group, massive credit to the response, massive credit to how we played throughout the first half, the way we come out the second half, the way we chased down, built pressure for the third goal. There was some outstanding things in there. But for us, the process is always just look at what we've done well, but also look at the bits that we can improve, and that was, one in terms of a concentration at the end that the group are frustrated about, and will I'm sure make us stronger.
Take you back to the early stages of the game. You conceded in the early part of the match, again, as you have done recently. It's a hell of a strike from Jack Taylor to get you back in it.
Yeah, it was. It's of course quite unusual for us, because I think over the last 2 years almost I've been here, we've started games really, really well, and especially at home we've traditionally come out of the blocks really, really fast, and that didn't quite happen in the first few minutes today. Swansea started the game better, but we're talking about, I'm not sure what minute the goal was on, but it was really early, so they looked a little bit sharper first few minutes, and of course they scored with their first chance with a set play. So that's the margins in football. We had a set play a minute later with Connor that could have scored, and if he'd have scored his and they hadn't scored theirs, we probably would say it was a really good start. So yeah, it's strange for us to concede another early goal. Of course we'll look at it, but sometimes things just do come in cycles a little bit. But the response was excellent. Of course, Jack's goal, massive credit for him, big day for him. Deserves hopefully all the plaudits he'll get for the goal, and for his all-round performance was excellent, and for the way that we played in the large part of the rest of the game, the chances we created, the penetration that we had. I say the only frustration in our attacking play is that we didn't go and get. I won't put a number on it, but there was a lot of goals out there for us today.
Yeah, and you get your penalty at last.
Yeah, it took. They had to take a goal off us on the set piece to give us the penalty, but we got one in the end. So that was important to kill the goal. I say, I didn't think there was anything wrong with Clarkie's goal, and that was frustrating because we worked so hard on our set play routines, and it was a terrifically worked routine to score the goal that was disallowed for a block that was pretty anonymous. But of course we got the penalty a couple of minutes later, and that really gives us the comfort in the game.
I was just going to say, you're normally pretty calm and relaxed manager, but you sound like a little bit of annoyance at the way that game finished today. Is that? I don't know what you're like post-match with the players. Is that the first time you've had to show them a little bit of frustration in the dressing room with the way that game finished?
It wouldn't be the first time that they've seen that side, but the main thing is the players are frustrated with it. Of course, myself and the staff were frustrated with the last 10 minutes or so, but the players are frustrated as well, and I think that's more important. So, look, we'll learn from it. As I've said, it's great to have these lessons and still win the game, but we know that there's no way last 98th minute the ball should be coming in our box with a 1-goal margin the way that game played out. So a good little marker for us going into the break, and one we'll learn from.
And nitpicking a little bit, you've scored 3 goals, but to be more clinical as well, you said there's quite a few goals left out there as well today.
Yeah, there was. Yeah, we could have scored. We could have scored more for sure. And look, I think we're the top goal scorers. But we still feel that we can be more clinical now. Look, of course, we scored a wonderful first goal as well. But yeah, I think we were good value for lots of goals. So the main thing is we're creating plenty of chances in general. I know there's other games where we're not going to be able to create as many as today because teams set up differently. But Swansea came with a really positive, aggressive game plan, came with a high line and a back four, and in those situations, it's important that we can show that we're a big threat.